Hello friends, welcome. Today we are watching the video. Rishi, let's read it. India, the future superpower is reclaiming. Wow, pretty interesting. So really excited to see what this video has to tell us. So without wasting any time, let's just dive in.
In the year of 1947, the British decided to leave India. But just before they packed their bags, they had made India bleed even more by pushing it into a deadly civil war. Who would have thought at that time that just in a few decades, Indian companies would be buying and taking over the top British brands like Jaguar, Range Rover, or the famous tea brand that we know as Statham? Who would have imagined that an Indian brand Tata would buy a steel company Coros and provide jobs to the British in their own land, but without making it a colony?
Actually, I will not be very surprised if this video will shock the international community a bit. When you hear the word India, the images that come to your mind are something like this. When the media in your country talks about India, they show you clips like this.
That's what you see, right?
But what they are not showing you and what they are actually hiding from you is that India also looks like this.
Almost like USA, or even better, I would say better than US.
Who could have thought a few decades earlier that the British government would be panicking and calling a special session of parliament when an Indian company Tata would decide to sell their brand cars, which would be making thousands of British jobless? Who could have thought that in just a few decades after the independence from the British, an Indian company Tata would actually become the biggest private sector employer of the UK?
Wow.
It took just a few decades for the Indians to show what they were capable of, and all of this was done in a complete fair business environment, not by colonizing,
Britishers,
and as the British did. And I am not talking about just one Indian brand. Today, there are many brands and individuals from India who are creating huge business empires on the land of the UK.
cool, very good.
But Indians are not here to take any revenge or prove a point. They are just doing what they have been always good at.
Meditation.
And that is not just yoga, Ayurveda or IT. Indians who are the masters of spirituality are also masters in business. Indian economy has finally gained momentum, and mind you, it has not got to the fifth gear yet. Probably it is still in the second gear, but what's surprising that even in the second gear, it has already become the fastest growing major economy in the world, already taking over China in that regard.
Good.
And India still has so much of unutilized potential which is lying in its reserves. Now let's talk about the major industries of India. IT sector. India is the world's largest sourcing destination for the information technology industry, accounting for approximately 67% of the 124 to 130 billion US dollars market. India ranks third among global startup ecosystems with more than 4,200 startups. Science and technology. India, a country which is a nuclear power, also ranks third among the most attractive investment destinations for technology transactions in the world. The Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, has completed its mission of developing India's independent navigation system by launching Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System, which means India has its own version of what in the West we know as GPS.
Wow.
India is constantly helping other countries like Singapore, Germany, UK, and many more to launch their satellites as well.
They're helping.
It has successfully undertaken space mission to Moon and even Mars. Pharmaceuticals sector. The Indian pharmaceuticals market is the third largest in the world in terms of
Third
volume.
largest.
And India is the largest provider of generic drugs. Gems and jewelry sector. India is one of the largest exporters of gems and jewelry in the world. They are a hub of semi-precious and precious stones. How many of you actually knew that 95% of diamonds in the world are cut, polished, and processed in India, and most of it happens in just one city of India that is called Surat.
Surat.
Healthcare sector. India is fast becoming a hub of medical tourism of both types of healthcare, modern medicine and natural, which includes Ayurveda and other natural treatments. It has the advantage of the new state-of-art hospitals and well-trained and high-skilled professionals, which is supplemented by its low cost. The cost of surgery in India is about 1/10 of what in the US or Western Europe.
Yeah.
India is a top destination for you, whether it's about natural treatments, a heart surgery, a cosmetic surgery, or a dental treatment, which your country's natural insurance may not be covering. Real estate sector. India is building future cities of the world. The massive plan of building 100 smart cities.
Wow.
To give you an example, over 5 million homes are under construction just in the national capital region of India. A majority of people in India still live in villages, and India is preparing itself for the biggest migration of its people from villages to the cities at a scale which the mankind has probably never seen before. Infrastructure sector. India is growing its infrastructure at an unbelievable speed. Did you know that its capital already has around 250 kilometers of modern metro rail?
Wow.
And it's going to add a few hundreds more, which is going to make it the biggest in the world, close to Shanghai.
Delhi.
Almost all its major cities are seeing the rapid development of metro, and the construction of bullet trains connecting the major cities are underway too. Not just that, India is developing infrastructure in the other parts of the world and growing its influence by making ports and developing other mega infrastructure outside India too. Automobile sector. Apart from all the international companies which are lining up to make the most of India's automobile market, which is literally exploding, India's own brands are not far behind. From the premium brands of Jaguar or Range Rover to the cheapest car Tata Nano, India has it all. You will be surprised to know that India has a long list of its own automobile brands like Mahindra, Hero, TVS, Ashok Leyland, Bajaj, Force Motors, Eicher, just to name a few. Hero is the world's largest manufacturers of two-wheelers. Mahindra are another big name who were very close to the acquisition of Alfa Romeo a while ago. Agriculture sector. India is the largest producer, consumer and exporter of spices and spice products. It is also the source of the delicious mangoes, pulses and famous basmati rice that is known for its taste and fragrance around the world. The good news is that the northeast part of India has its agriculture based on the traditional organic farming, which has been untouched by the failed scientific experiments of fertilizers and genetic seed modification.
Cool.
How many of you actually knew that India, which is nearly half in area of China, and the US actually has more arable land than China and is second largest in the world, only marginally behind the US? Also, other sectors of India are worth a mention here, such as cement industry, which is the second largest in the world. Also, India is growing rapidly in biotechnology, aviation, banking and insurance, film industry, media and entertainment, and many more. It is also a big exporter of textiles, which includes finest silk, pashmina, leather, and marble. Besides, how many of you actually knew that some of the top brains in the world are either Indian nationals or of Indian origin? Sundar Pichai, an Indian who has studied in the Indian Institute of Technology, is now the
IIT.
CEO of Google. Satya Nadella, who is the CEO of Microsoft, is a graduate from Manipal Institute of Technology in India. The
Manipal.
CEO of Adobe Systems is also an Indian, and his name is Shantanu Narayan. And these are just a few names. There is a long list of global CEOs from India. So no matter where you are in the world, whatever country you may belong to, whether you are a young boy or a girl in a primary school or a college, you must know that sooner or later you will have to have something to do with India. And it is inevitable because India is fast establishing itself as a top 3 economy of the world.
Wow.
And its true potential is even bigger than that.
So it's better that you start educating yourself about the rising economic powerhouse that we know as India, because your future belongs here too. And as I have said earlier, India is not just developing, India is reclaiming. See you again.
Wow. The ending was really impressive. It was like it's not only recovering, it's going to be reclaiming. So it was like, a bang to the end, to the very end. So really beautifully told and very informative, I would say. And I mean, the general, as I said, every time you think about India, and it's true, in movies, especially Hollywood movies or foreign movies, they show slums of India, they show poverty in India, or they show terrorism, which is not the correct picture of India. They never show the big cities, the tall buildings, and all those things. So anybody who looks from the outside, I mean, has that idea when they look at these movies that this is what India is. And that reminds me, when I initially we moved to US, and I made some American friends. They had viewpoint like, India is a place where they have like tigers and snake charmers, and you have elephants and cows on the roads. So they would ask me those kind of questions, and I would be, whenever they would, but they were very nice. It was not in a way that it was insulting, but in a very nice, curiosity way. So is it really there? Because they were so impressed about the fact, excited, oh, you can see those things which we are not able to see here. So, but as an Indian, I would be like, what? How can you think of those things? Because that's not what India really is. But unfortunately, that's what the general viewpoint of people around the world was, and
20 years ago.
Yeah, I'm talking when we moved. So I'm not talking right now.
25.
25 years ago. So that was the viewpoint. But looking at this once again, and these videos are really, really good because it opens the eyes of the people around the world. They get to know more about India, just like Rishi gets to know more about India. Of course, Rishi doesn't think that India is that, where they're talking about the negativities, because he loves India. And as I've been telling, some of my friends, he is so excited to visit India. He's the guy, when we had to take him to summer camp, he refused to go by plane, which was just a 2-hour flight, guys. But while we were discussing, how can we go? It was like, we can't go to India this summer. He was like, I can go on my own. And he was ready to take a flight on his own from here all the way to India, Delhi, just to visit India on his own. So that's amazing. We were quite shocked. You can't do that. And he was like, no, I can do it. I can go. You can pack my bag. He was ready to get set off and fly off. But anyway, that's just the joke part. But coming back to this video, beautifully said. So Dara's going to go ahead.
So I looked at the video as we just saw, and she has done a lot of research and she has put a lot of good points. Now some of these points you will see that in daily lives in the US, right? And Rishi can say some about some of those things, but before he talks about the things that he has seen, like the rice and other stuff. But every person in India, right? 90% of people in India know what America is, right?
Yeah.
So they know what America is, they know America. But if you look here, all the people do not know about India. Okay.
Yeah.
And why is that? So why is that all the Indians know about America, but Americans do not know about India? So if you look at it, right, I mean, every day, look at your everyday life, right? Everyday life, people need to buy computers. The first personal computer was made by IBM, right? So again, a American company. Now you need a chip, the CPU, that has to be either Intel or AMD, again, American companies. Then you need some kind of operating system. You will use Microsoft or you will use Mac OS, both American, right? If you say, okay, I can use Unix was also made in US. And now you have Linux. Linux Torvalds lives in the US. So Linux kernel is basically US. Then you say, okay, fine, computers is okay. Then what do you do? When you buy a computer, what do? You need internet. Internet was made in US, right? So you have internet over there. Now internet has come. Then you will say, okay, I got the internet. Then what do? Social media, you use Facebook. It's in the US. You use Google. Google is in the US, right? So if you look at it, you need to read a PDF. Adobe Reader is in the US, right? So if you look at it, the US comes in your life wherever you are. If you're in India, whatever you use, US is in there. Internet, computers, Google, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, anything that you do. Even if you say, okay, telephones, yeah, telephone was also created in the US, right? So the point is, what we are trying to get here is that India needs to do great, and the greatness will come by creating things that everybody in the world needs to use. So India creates something, then a person over here, if they have to use it, they will use it, and when they will look up, they'll say, oh, this was created in India. So the point that I'm trying to get is why everybody knows about US, because everything that is meaningful or is important in daily lives that we use was at some point or the other had connection in US. Similarly, India needs to do the same thing. Create new things, build great things, so that other world has to depend on your product. And that's how you become powerful country in the world. I mean, America is not powerful just because it has weapons. It is powerful because it has inventions. So when India starts inventing things where other people have to use it, then it becomes, and it has already started by takeover, which is okay. Like for example, Jaguar.
That's great. That is a good, very good beginning.
That is a way of doing it, that you are starting to take over things. Like she was saying that steel you took Chorus or something was taken. Tetley was another acquired. Then Tata seems to be acquiring many things which is great thing, right? They are acquiring a lot of things. Similarly, Mahindra is saying that it was trying to acquire Alfa Romeo or something. So the point was that to be a great country, it will come from inventions. You invent things that other people need to use. And that is one thing, every day when we use something, think about it, from where did it come? And you will see the connection to US. And that is why she was saying, in the future economy, people here will find a connection to India, right? Today we see everything connecting to US, and in future people will see everything connecting to India. So very nice video, and she is trying to motivate people, show that you have achieved so much, and remember, one day things are going to lead back to India.
Cool. Very nice. Yeah. Which is very motivating and encourages you, like we have such brilliant brains in India. Not just in India, even the Indians which are abroad, brilliant brains there. So if we all work together, we can show the world how great we are. So as I've been saying, Indians in outside of India are already outshining. They are showing how, great they are, and the perspective of the people about Indians is changing. So they know that these people, like if you look, we meet Americans, they know that Indians are really smart, they're really intelligent, and they are achieving really high positions in the society. So that brings pride to India in an indirect way. So for example, this young guy hopefully will also make India proud someday by achieving something. But let's ask from him, Rishi, what did you like about this video, and how were you able to, were you able to connect anything from here?
Well, basmati rice is really good.
Oh wow, good.
As
So
I said, it was a favorite, and also mangoes are also really good. Mango juices.
Right.
Tasty.
Mangoes, basmati,
and
you've
then,
seen,
yeah.
yeah. And if you go to the Walmart and you look at Tetley tea.
Yeah, and
Oh, yeah.
and then you just keep telling me what Tata's buying this, Tata's buying that, Tata's like ruling the world. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, when they first bought the Land Rover company,
Yeah.
the Range Rover, Land Rover, Jaguar, it's basically one company, British
Yeah.
company. And at the time, right, I mean, everybody was so happy that, and I was reading articles, and I also said in the previous video.
yeah, that reminds me when the day he read this article that, or he got to know that Tata is taking over Jaguar, he was so happy and so excited he could not stop. The whole day in the car or anywhere, he would start talking about
If
it.
he sees a Land Rover guy,
Even now,
owns it now.
yeah, anytime in the
how
on the
it's
road,
like.
yeah, exactly. Anytime, even now, if there's a Jaguar going or a Land Rover going, he's going to say, Tata has taken it, and we're like, we know it. You've told us 100 times, we know it. So I mean, this is how excited and proud Indians feel when they come to know that India is taking over all these outside companies because acquiring it exactly. And the good part about acquiring these is not only being famous in the world for acquiring it, but then you get the knowledge, the technology. So for example, if once they've acquired these cars, they can study it and know exactly, the details of how they were built. And then with those brilliant Indian minds, they can make cars like that or even better than that at a much cheaper price. Just like they said that the cheapest car, which is Nano, has been built by India. So all acquiring is a great way of getting knowledge, and that's exactly what I think Chinese did, because they had all these manufacturing designs and everything that Americans would send them to make, and because of that now they are getting so strong and they have.
Right, I mean that is a different issue where American company gets something manufactured in China, but then there is some kind of intellectual property theft, and somehow the country that manufactures learns how to do this.
Yeah.
So that is human nature. If you're manufacturing something somewhere here, it's not like a submarine where the information does not go out. So of course people learn from the country how to build. But the key thing was, that's what I was joking. Somebody was saying, one day the Nano, when it initially came, had some issues in a gearbox, and I was saying now that they have acquired Land Rover, no problem. They have all the designs, so that issue is going to be resolved.
Yeah.
All the Tata cars are going to be super good now, just because they have acquired all the knowledge and technology, and they are going to do much better.
And probably that was maybe the reason behind acquiring it, that we get that technology that we need and get better at it.
Yeah.
And as it is, India has already shown they can do things which at a much lesser price than what the rest of the world has been doing and making. So that's amazing.
Right. And when I went for business trip to India a couple of years ago and I landed in the airport, it was looking like an airport in any foreign country.
Oh, I think even better.
Yeah. I went to the airport of Delhi, I went to Mumbai's airport, I went to Hyderabad airport, I also went to Bangalore's airport because I was traveling for business, for office work, and I was amazed to see that all the airports were looking at par with any other US airport. So that is one great thing, because coming here 25 years ago, every time you would go back to India, you would land and you will see that the airport is not good. And we'll say, okay, but now when you go, you say this at par. And that makes
a good impression to the people, the outside people who are coming and visiting India, which is awesome. And that also reminds me, since you were talking that you went to business, about the outsourcing they're talking about.
Right.
I mean, most of the work even in US is going to India, because they know there are, brilliant minds there. And I guess even they're thinking of taking away work from China and all and giving it to Indian companies, I guess.
That is a separate topic, but the issue is that companies will always move to places where they can get better output, in the sense that people can do a job at a lower rate but even better.
Yeah.
So that's why, and that happens because of the currency differences. So because the currency is different, they can pay them better and still profit because of the difference between dollar
and plus, not only that, but also they're getting great computer experts, Indian
so knowledge, as somebody was saying, India has the largest amount of PhDs or largest amount of doctors in the world. And she said a very good point about generic medication, and that is what I was saying over here. We are paying so high
Oh, yeah.
for generic. In India, it's cheaper. So what did Walmart do? Now Walmart has hired some of the companies.
Walmart is a US store.
It is a retail chain,
Yeah.
largest retail chain in the US. And now when we buy the generics from Walmart, and I saw some company, I forgot, Teva Pharmaceutical or something, and there it was saying made in India.
Wow.
So basically our medication here, generics are also now coming from India,
cool.
and they are pretty cheap now because Walmart said, forget it, man, I'm not going to mess up the people of US. I'm going to get it from where and that is what I mean. India is fantastic. As soon as the patents end, India starts making generics, and the whole world is waiting. There was another time where something was happening, and they were saying that if India is the center of generics in the world, if India loses that, then Africa will suffer because all the medication in Africa comes from India. So they were saying, look at the power. So, and that was the beauty because India is very cautiously monitoring the patents. The patent ends, and next day you have a generic available in India, and it is basically the same thing. And it is as good as anything else. So I would say that generic medication is fantastic. I mean.
And on a lighter note, since we are talking about medicine and the healthcare that is provided in India, which is so much cheaper, I've got doctors in US who are professional doctors, and let me tell you guys on a lighter note that they are doctors, but whenever, and one of them is a dentist. And whenever they have a problem, like, they have to have a tooth transplant or anything like that, like a root canal and stuff like that, they'll specially go to India because they feel that the healthcare there is really good and so much cheaper. I mean, look at that. They did their studies in US. They are doctors themselves here. They're not lacking the money. I mean, they're really rich. So they can afford the healthcare here. But they're specifically going there because they feel that the healthcare in India, the kind of service they'll get and the root canal or the things that they can get there is of really high standard, which is really, really amazing. So guys, I guess we should now end this video. It gets pretty long, and as some of you were saying that it gets too long. And we are sorry, we can't help it. If the video is great, it inspires us so much that we want to talk on and on. So this time I'm trying to, keep a track of time and stop it so it doesn't become too long. But I'm guessing this again probably has. So forgive us for that. But anyway, guys, so beautiful video. Opens the eyes of the world, and I love the thing that it's in English. And some of you were saying, as why do you speak in English? I mean, not in Hindi. So guys, we do have a Hindi channel, and its name is MomZilla, and I'll put the link of that in the description box if you would like to check it out. But the reason why we talk in English here is so that the rest of the world, when they look at these videos, they're able to understand and they get to know what we are talking about, and the beauty of India, the greatness of India, and the achievements of India. Because if I speak in Hindi, obviously we people who know Hindi will be able to understand. But there are so many people who wouldn't be able to. So that's the reason we try to speak only in English here. And in the other channel, we speak
in Hindi.
Only in Hindi, I guess I should say. So do check that video out. And yes, guys, if you would like us to react on something or watch a particular video and give a reaction on, do write it down in the comment section. But do please post the link with it, because it gets very difficult for us to know exactly which video you're talking about. Okay, guys, now without wasting any more time, we'll take your leave. And beautiful video once again. Very proud to watch this video, and we are waiting for watching a few more. So stay with us and we'll keep watching and enjoying these videos. So till then, friends, take care. Bye bye.
Oh, and if you're new to my channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell icon so it notifies you when I put in my new video for you to enjoy. Bye!